Now this is very sneaky. Have you ever wished you could make more from your MSP by getting other people to do all of the hard work? Well, you can. In fact, you can actually use your prospects and your clients to not only help you grow your MSP's revenue, but also directly help you with your marketing. Let's talk about the simple way to take everyday conversations with ordinary business owners, extract marketing content from those conversations, and then use it across multiple platforms. They can help you to grow your business without them even realizing. To do great marketing for your MSP, you need great content. And there's tons of it around. Many vendors give away content as a value add, and there are plenty of businesses that supply high quality content, such as my MSP Marketing Edge, for example. Now, I've always said that there is a clear hierarchy of content where you creating your own sits at the top. So at the top, you've got you creating your own content. In the middle, you've got high-quality content only supplied to one MSP per area, like the MSP Marketing Edge. And then at the bottom, you've got content supplied to thousands of MSPs, including, of course, your competitors. But of course, creating your own content is a time and a resource hog. And one of the tricks when creating your own content is to repurpose ideas into different types of content for different platforms. So what I'm talking about here has been on my blog, and it was in one of my LinkedIn newsletters at some point in the past. Different words, same kind of themes. So let me give you my standard operating procedure for collecting, creating, and repurposing marketing content for your MSP. And there are 3 steps. The first is to collect ideas. Collecting ideas for content, it's kind of a mindset more than anything. Once you realize that ideas are around you all the time, you just have to open yourself up to collecting them. And your goal is to create content that's educational and entertaining for ordinary business owners and managers, which makes every communication with every client a potential content goldmine. Imagine how many ideas could come out of a sales meeting or a strategic review, which you might know as a quarterly business review. Ask lots of open questions. Not only do you get quality answers from that, which will help you to close a prospect or upsell a client, but that also generates content ideas for you. And here are some examples of open questions. So, what are your plans for the next few years? What are your most urgent priorities? What are your biggest business concerns? What would you like to do that your current technology won't allow you to do? Now, this one's my favorite. If I could wave a magic wand and do anything to make your business life easier, what would it be? And what do you often hear your staff saying about your technology? Now, let's say the response to the last question was, actually, I always hear them moaning about how slow everything is. Well, not only is that a hot buying signal, but it's also a great content idea. So get into the habit of writing down every content idea you hear, whether it's a good one or not, because the goal at this stage is to capture everything. I always have a notes page open in my browser when I'm chatting to MSPs. In fact, I just counted, and currently that page has more than 200 unused ideas. And just reading them gives me other ideas. Second step then is to create content. Let's take that comment about slow technology and imagine you turn it into a blog on your website. That could be 5 reasons why your staff moan about slow computers and how to end the complaints for $297. The 5 reasons, which I've just made up off the top of my head and you'd replace them with your own better reasons, are they haven't restarted their device for 3 years, they have a million tabs open on their browser, they have every possible piece of software open and running, their computer is so old, it's on Windows 3.1, and their IT support team isn't being proactive. And that last one gives you a chance to segue into the proactive tasks that your team would perform regularly to keep their network and devices optimized. And talk in broad strokes and avoid techno-babble. You want them sitting there feeling annoyed, wondering if their current IT people are doing anything or not, and then you offer to help the reader delight their staff by spending $297 on a speed audit. What's a speed audit? Well, I just made that up as well. And it's where you and your team, you do an audit. It's just a basic technology audit, but it's aimed at finding out why their device's network is so slow, including implementing any easy fixes. Now, we all know that this kind of audit is really just the prospect paying for a high-quality sales meeting with you. They're paying for you to tell them everything that's wrong and how you would fix it if they joined you as a contracted client. As a sales tool, paid audits have fallen out of favour in recent years, but I do believe used well, they can still be very powerful. And by the way, you don't have to write all of that content I was just talking about yourself. It needs to come out of your brain, sure, but you can create it without actually pressing laptop buttons. For example, you could dictate it. I dictate most of my content now, and then I edit it into shape, and that one habit has more than doubled my output in the last few years. You could feed your ideas into AI to write it for you. Just make sure you edit and humanize what the AI spits out. You could record a voice note and send it to a freelance writer on Upwork. There's lots of things you could do. And then the final step is to repurpose the content, because that blog can now be turned into all sorts of different content. The blog can be copied as a LinkedIn newsletter. Each of the 5 reasons could become a social post. You could film a video about all of this. It could become a segment on your podcast if you do one. You could do a webinar on it, and it's also a great subject for a LinkedIn Live. And just there are 7 different types of content, all from one idea. Now, there are 2 tricks to get this right. The first is to reshape the content to fit the platform. So you don't just copy and paste the blog into a social post, for example. You'd rewrite it, or at very least shorten it down and simplify the words you use. And the second trick is to use a content calendar to plan when and how you'll reuse content. Spread it out across the year, across all the different platforms. And you're looking for a variety of subjects so that your content never feels samey.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.